There are 7 keys to prominence. We need to struggle to get them. Number 1, making the right delegation. In the book of Genesis chapter 41 from verse 38 to 44, Joseph interpreted the dream of Pharaoh. He also suggested for a wise man to be employed who will gather food in the time of abundance against the time of scarcity. But Pharaoh asked, is there any other person that will be wiser than you? You have been used to interpret this great dream. He made him a prime minister. He did not look at his background as a slave. You see, many people know the qualified people to handle certain responsibilities. But they will say, he is not an indigent. He is not a man. He is not educated. And what have you? Pharaoh prepared this man, and he became a great vessel in his kingdom. If you find somebody who qualifies a position, give it to him. Prepare him where he is not qualified. Pharaoh gave Joseph a wife and a position of the prime minister. The young man was a great administrator. Number 2, getting the right person for assistance. Getting the right person. In the book of Judges, chapter 11, 6 to 11, the elders of Israel went back to Jephthah. They swallowed their pride and shame. They went back to him and begged him to come and be their leader. They saw him as the right person who could assist them to win their war against the enemies. Don't be ashamed of going back to your master that you offended. If you know that he is the right person that can be used to help you in that situation. Don't be too proud to go back to that friend that you offended. Don't be too proud to go back to your mother, your parents. Yes. Don't be too proud to go back to that person. If you know that is the right person, go back, bow down, and ask for forgiveness. Then ask for help. See, don't find it difficult to go back to that person you pushed away, that boy you pushed away, that boy that you accused, and you pushed him away. That your servant has become somebody right now. Don't be ashamed of going back there if you know that it's the right person that could be used. A lot of people said, I prefer to die to go into that person. No. That is pride. It is a grave error. A grave error. Number 3, rewarding the right person. In the book of Esther chapter 6 verse 3, King Ahasuerus decided to honor and to reward Mordecai. You see, many companies don't care to reward certain people whose conditions are low. People with low background, people with low status, because they think that they are not giving them much. They only reward people who help them to make much money. But the king really understood that if it was not the work of, or the role of Mordecai, he would have been killed. Verse 2 of Esther chapter 6 reveals that he exposed 2 kings' officials who made a plan to kill him. Number 4, recognizing the right person. recognizing the right person. In the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 3, Jesus recognized the widow and even called her the highest giver. Other people gave out of abundance, but she gave her last card. There are people who have exhausted themselves, people who have reached themselves to help a lot of ministries and companies. Yet, they are not recognized. Why? Maybe their status was very low. They came from a low background. Some of them were not seen as indigent. And what have you? When people are rewarded, when people are recognized, they do more. They do more. Those people who were sweeping, those people who were cleaning, those people who were helping in the party in one way or the other, they were not recognized. Unless people who help to make much money, those who help them to make much money, they were the people who were recognized. Recognition. Number 5, commending the right people. Commending the right people. In the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 23, verse 16 and 17, David could not drink the water that the 3 mighty men fetched from Bethlehem. He said, this water is their blood. How can I drink this? They broke through Philippians' camp. The issue of crossing the Philippians' army was not a small one. He commended them. A lot of people who took risk in some areas, in the ministries, in companies, in one way or the other, are not recognized. Commend and appreciate that person who exhausted his purse in order to sponsor a ministry in faith. That person who gave his last card for the work of God to excel, commend him. That person who was praying secretly for the progress of the work. That person who was praying and fasting for you to succeed in the ministry. It could be your mother, it could be your father, it could be your mentor. Commend this work. Any moment such people are commended, they do more work. They increase their efforts. They even double what they did before. Even Jesus in the book of Matthew chapter 26, 7 to 13, commended that woman who broke a costly oil to anoint his feet. A lot of people there say it was a waste. Jesus said, no, it's not a waste. Listen, commend people who take risk always for your family, company, ministries, to excel in one way or the other. Number 6 key, helping the right person. In the book of Acts, chapter 24, from verse 24 to 27, Felix should have helped Paul, but he left him in the prison because he wanted to please the Jews. Also, he thought that Paul would bribe him or give him money. So he did not help him. He even lost his position. You see, don't refuse to help the right person because you think that you will not get anything from that. Or because you think that he is not from your village or is not an indigent. Don't do that. Look at the last key, the 7th key, developing the right person. In the book of Exodus chapter 2, 5 to 10, Pharaoh's daughter drew Moses out of the river. She trained she trained him as a prince, as a mighty prince in Egypt. The book of Acts chapter 7, 21, 22 declares that she trained Moses as her son. And he was trained in all the wisdom of Egypt. To this end, he became a mighty man in words and also in deed. He really became a great instrument in the kingdom of Egypt. Finally, he became the deliverer of the people of Israel. God used him greatly. Listen, if you develop the right person, you have helped the next generation unborn. That's true. Look at that person. If you have seen him as the right person, help to develop him. It could be in education. It could be helping that person to learn a trade. It could be helping that person in the ministry, or the one other way or the other. Apply these 7 keys and move to the level of progress. Shalom.